So it's 2 a.m. in the UK. The Kiramager subs have dropped, and I've watched the first episode now. For anyone confused, hey, this is just second Kiramager video very quickly. Well, the previous one was about episode 0, which was a special that came out before the series. This is the first proper episode. And I wasn't really planning on making a second video this quickly, but I kind of loved this episode, so I really want to talk about it. So yes, Kiramager episode 1, gonna make this a very quick one. It's a really great episode. First of all, one of its biggest strengths is that it doesn't really need to do all that much heavy lifting. Episode 0 has already set up a lot. But at the same time, this episode is written in a very clever way that you don't necessarily need to have seen episode 0 to actually understand everything. It still infers a lot of the stuff that happens in episode 0, and you can kind of figure out for yourself what that inference means. You can actually watch episode 1 first and understand everything that's happening, which sounds obvious, but when you already have half an hour's worth of prequel before this, it can be kind of difficult to write this aimed at new viewers and people that have already seen that half an hour in a way that both parties still get the same amount of enjoyment out of the episode. So that's the first really big thing that it manages to handle well. The second is that this is Juru's episode. Juru is the Red Ranger of the team and the protagonist of the series. And this episode, because episode 0 already does most of the heavy lifting, this episode can really focus on him and give us a really strong, solid introduction to him, because he wasn't really in episode 0 very much. He only got a couple minutes worth of screen time. So here is his time to, pun intended, shine. And they do a really good job of it because they give him strengths and flaws in equal measure, and it makes them both believable. See, when he is approached by Princess Mabushima to become Kirame Red, he has a lot of self-doubt, and that self-doubt is something that really carries on throughout the duration of the episode. He doubts that he can be a ranger, and because he doubts himself, the rest of the team also doubt him too, and that just makes things worse. It becomes this kind of self-fulfilling cycle where they doubt him, so he doubts himself, which leads to them doubting him more. If he had more self-confidence, then he would have fit right in with the team. And that's the thing, the rest of the team are already really good at fighting and have professions that give them a lot of confidence that they're successful at. Whereas, in comparison, Juru is just a school kid with a hobby. He's not like them. He hasn't matured like they have. And so he finds it difficult to live up to everything that they've done. And I really like that. And Yellow is especially skeptical of him, which they do a really good job of setting up because they set it up with a joke. See, Juro recognizes and introduces the rest of the members of the team, but Yellow, he doesn't. And that's what sows the seed of Yellow having a particular distaste for him. So whilst throughout the rest of the episode he manages to slowly win over the other members of the team, Yellow never fully gets won over in the same way. And Yellow's gears are grinded even more when later on in the episode Juro gives him a mecha, and that mecha has nothing to do with his profession. He's like, oh, I just get the digger, okay. And there's a really fun rivalry there because Juro's just oblivious to it, and that's another flaw that he has. Not only does Juro have bad self-confidence issues, he's also kind of oblivious and airheaded. And they do this in a way that feels realistic and natural. He just gets caught up in the moment so much that he doesn't even really notice that he's annoying Kirame Yellow, and I like that a lot. Other things that really work about this, the action scene is fantastic. I love that we have a scene focused so much on the mechas, but they never combine. I always like it when they slowly introduce that kind of stuff. We'll get the combinations later on in the series. For now, we just have a fun action scene that revolves around the 5 mecha being split up, and we get a lot of fun interactions from that, like how Kirame Green's mecha kind of drives up Kirame Red's fire truck's ladder, and how the fire truck spins around to kind of fling the other mechas at the monster of the week. It's really great stuff, and it does a really good job of, well, advertising the toy, because toy advert show, you know? Another thing I really liked is that one of the villains, who is called Crunchula. No, I'm not joking. Yes, this is the best series ever. We have a villain called Crunchula. Crunchula explains that he thought it would be fun if all of the villains and monster of the weeks that he sends out are based on household objects, and I like that they had a self-aware joke about that. I like that a lot. Most other series won't really acknowledge that, and I like that they were self-aware enough to acknowledge that in a light-hearted way. There's also like the foreshadowing and the stuff with the imagination. I really like how they handled the imagination element of this series so far, because that's Juro's biggest strength. See, the other members of the team, because Juro hasn't joined yet, they don't know how to handle with this faucet monster, so they just attack him and nothing really happens. Whereas Juro has the imagination to come up with a plan and to create these mechas, well, from his imagination. It all connects together, it all clicks together. It makes for a very satisfying episode because everything kind of comes together really well. And I like that we get the kind of foreshadowing from Princess Mabushima, where she says that his use of imagination reminds her of her own father. So not only do we see Juro's flaws and his strengths, we kind of get an idea of the sort of direction he could head. The power of imagination is so important that it's even the king's biggest strength. And so if Juro is already pretty good at that sort of thing, then everything again connects together really well. Because of that, everything is very satisfying when things start to come together later on in the episode and he becomes Kirame Red, and we get a moment where he gets to save his classmates, where before, earlier on in the episode, we get established very quickly that his classmates don't really care for him because he just sits there in the corner and draws. And well, when danger happens, he kind of throws all that away and cares more about saving them than he does getting back at a bully. Any other series would have drawn this out for quite a bit longer, but Kiramager gets it done very quickly, and I like that. It works. There's a certain brevity to everything. Everything goes very fast, no scene feels wasted, everything just works, and I like that a lot. And it just creates for a really simple episode that knows what it's doing. There's no real subtlety necessarily, it is pretty on the nose, but I think that they're doing that intentionally. There's no like shying away from what the series is trying to be. It knows what it's trying to be and it's doing it well. And again, the action scenes are great. When Kirame Blue is fighting, they have like this drone flying around him. It's so good. And not only do they have the drone flying around him, we get this really cool transition where Kirame Blue pushes Juro away, and then we get like the drone shot transitions into a first person view of Juro. It's really cool. And yeah, that's episode 1 of Kiramager. It's really good. I really enjoy it. It's such a perfect episode at everything it's trying to do. There's no like pacing issues or anything. Like it goes very quickly, no moment is wasted, but it never feels like it's going so fast that it's tiring. It really works. And if you want some more in-depth opinions on my thoughts of the series so far, I did a video a few days ago about episode 0 where I go a bit more in depth about my general thoughts, but episode 1 just does such a great job establishing everything, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where things go next. I mean, again, the fact that I like this episode so much that I immediately started working on another Kiramager video after only just releasing the first one kind of says a lot in and of itself. So yeah, I'll see you later. I know I'm supposed to say like, comment, subscribe, and all that other stuff at the end of all my videos. I'm very awkward about that, but if you want to do that, then do that, I guess. I don't know, do what you want, I guess. But I will see you later with more videos.